Let's have fun with it.
Turn down all my shit here.
Yeah, mine's all shut off. I think, better make sure.
Turn off my phones, I'll turn off my computer, everything goes off. Alright,
We good?
I'm ready. I'm a speaker, you know that. I don't mind. I can talk.
Yeah.
So what do we got?
All right. Hey guys, today my name is Seth. This is Jim. We're sitting here with Steve with Artur Express. Thank you, Steve, for your time. Steve, interested in not only what you do with Artur, but also your story. I know you've been in this game for a long time, and not only as a driver, but kind of going up through everything that you've seen. Man, what's your story? How did you get here?
Basically, first of all, thanks you guys for coming. It's a great opportunity. We like doing business with you guys. You've always helped us get drivers in trucks, so that's a great opportunity. We like the partnership. But my story is kind of an easy one, basically. I've only worked at two places. Been doing this is my 30th anniversary, so in November I'll have 30 years in. I put 8 years here at Artur Express, but I put 22 years in at the place before I worked. Started out there on night shift, unloading planes, trains, spotting trailers at Ford. Kind of got in the business of where I was driving a truck for a while, and then started owning some trucks, got inside of the company, managing the company. There was a few transitions and buyouts and things, but I stayed. I was always in the same desk, same department, same owners, basically, just different name on the door. I stayed through that whole transition for the 22 years, and it just became time to where I could see that company once again was going from the trucking company, because I'm a trucker. I got 1 million plus miles under my belt. I understand this industry. It was turning into a transportation company. Transportation company to me is someone that works for the customer. A trucking company works for your trucker. Your trucker is who drives your revenue. I gotta have customers, don't get me wrong, and I'm the guy to keep my truckers in line, so we take care of the customers, but you got to take care of them truckers, and you got to show them the love through the door. They're not even going to come here. So I just felt that it was time to find a trucking company again. Grandpa owned the place, Dad ran the place, the kids were starting to take over, and I said, you know what, let's make that change before they sell the place and I don't have this opportunity. So 8 years ago, found Artur Express. They were looking for a team dispatch manager. That's always my funny story. They were looking for team dispatch manager. And we only had like 10 teams at the time, and now after 8 years, we're over 200 teams. So we've grown that division. I started with a total of 250 trucks when we started here 8 years ago, and we're over 725 now. We're up to about 760. COVID, we've lost a few just because they're transitioning to just stay home, do other things. Right. So we know we'll be back up. We really have a nice goal of, we want to get over 800. We'd like to get over 800 this year, get our numbers up to 800. And an eventual goal is to be that 1,100 truck company. 1,100 kind of puts you in that top 100 trucks. You really can compete with the big boys. And it really lets drivers know that, we're not 50 buildings all around the country, right. One building, and we're gonna, compete with the big guys. And our pay plans do it, our equipment does it, a brand new facility here, and all of those things really help us get there. That was the vision I seen 8 years ago with Tom and Artur, was we want to grow this place. We don't want 5,000 trucks next week, but can we grow 100 a year? Can we grow 50 a year? Can we have, less turnover than the national average? So instead of being 100% turnover, we're in the 60s, 70s, right in there. So I just seen the vision. One of the greatest things about this company, though, truly, that made me just say, okay, sign, whatever, just give me a deal. Arthur's dad still drives here and owns trucks. He does 150,000 miles a year, and Tom's mom owns trucks here. So when the owners of the company own trucks, that really made me, I walked in the building and said, look at these young, slick guys. And when they told me that story, and their story of, 21 years ago, they started out as a car service in New York, running 600 cars. They were just dispatchers at that time. So they really got their feet wet in transportation. And then, Arthur's dad was already doing it, and then it just built from there. But I just felt this was a home for me because we treat everybody like someone, not something, or nothing is replaceable here. Every employee, we want to make sure they're the best. We give them the best tools. Same with the drivers. Sure. So that's just one of our things that I really like. They were all about top notch. It was just, we want the best. We want to be the best, but we don't want to cut all the corners. We don't want to just, screw a bunch of drivers to get there. And that is not what happens here. I mean, when your father runs a truck here, you hear a lot of stuff about the business. You hear what customers are great, what facility repair places are good, or what person in the office isn't answering the phones properly. So that's when I knew that, and then plus another thing about Tom and Artur is, here's your position, own it. Run this room like it's your business. If we don't like how you run your business, we'll let you know.
Sure.
So that really gives you freedom to
That's huge.
be a mover and shaker in the business.
It does.
No micromanaging.
Right.
And that's what I needed.
So you came in here as a team, but today you have a different title.
I'm Director of Fleet Relations at this time, and it just, where we were growing, they see my skill set, I guess. You talk what you want to talk in an interview, but until you can start showing them your abilities, showing them how you can handle situations and doing stuff. We always say around here, when you come here, we don't care what you did, show us what you can do.
Sure.
And I showed them what I could do in 90 days, and after 90 days, it was like, yeah, we're not gonna make this kid a dispatcher, we're gonna have him do something a little bigger. So, and it was also at the time where we took DITAT, our TMS dispatching system, and full integration for everything. We were really bringing that into play. We got rid of our other company that we were using, and we said, hey, let's really work this. So I kind of took lead on that, helped make sure we were transitioning into it. I didn't do the technology part of it, it was just my job. Artur would say, here's a new screen, teach people the screen, and let's get to that moment. So that's what we did.
Gotcha.
Right. And we just had a chance to see that.
Yes.
The guys had, and that's pretty impressive stuff. So.
It's a game changer, just as in you can do everything one-stop shopping, and it's born in trucking.
Sure.
It wasn't born with a bunch of computer people going, how do I move boxes around? It was, how do we move truckers? How do we move boxes? How do we move metal? Things of that.
It's a game changer when you start with
Yes.
those kind of things.
And in my role now, what we do is, my job is to make sure we put out ads, make sure I am communicating with all of my career advisors. That's one thing about Artur Express, we do not have recruiters.
Mm-hmm.
Recruiters send people to war, we just want you to go to work. No recruiters here. And we want that because that also is a negative terminology in this industry for drivers. Because when you're talking to a recruiter, they're just selling you something. We sell nothing here. We have great opportunities. And if it's not for you, we get it. We're not a fit for everybody.
It's a great approach.
So it really makes it a better opportunity. And then there's no tension if we're not that fit or something like that. And once again, my career advisors do a great job. I talk with Artur every day. He tells me about new lanes. We have meetings with planning managers. We do everything possible from me to the operations floor. If I know it, I make sure all my career advisors know it. What new lanes are happening, new rate plans, how to talk about the pay plan, how to make sure if a driver says, hey, I know I'm on this pay plan and I'm a professional driver, how do I make it expert? My career advisors can educate a driver on that. We're not the daily person they talk to, but we can give them that information. So that's kind of what we do here. And our job is to just bring the drivers in, get them into orientation, introduce them to the operations people, and then we're always the phone call away if they're just not getting the love from their dispatcher or dispatch manager. They reach out to us. And we're retention.
That helps you with the driver retention.
That is our retention
Gotcha.
department. It all leads to retention. If we always are following up, which we do, every driver gets a call 5 days out, 10 days out, 20, and we do updates, any negative stuff that comes back to the group, positive stuff. We see all the reviews, and it just gives us ways we can do stuff better. Sometimes the driver will tell us something they didn't like about orientation, so we can make a change there.
Right.
But everything we do is all about retention, because why do something if it's gonna cause the driver not to stay? So everything we think about in the front is how does that keep them here? So really every forward step is really just how do we keep the back door shut?
So you're basically beginning with the end in mind.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes.
One thing, you said you've been doing this basically 30 years.
Mm-hmm.
Every time I talk to you, Steve, there's always like a passion or drive behind your voice. What is still driving you today to do what you do?
Well, I don't know. I guess I would just say that I love helping people, and you're not just giving a job to somebody that's building widgets in your factory, which is a great thing, and we need that. We have somebody that's driving all around the country that has to be safe, they have to be polite, respectful, they have to do their job in a certain way that doesn't get a lot of respect. So my job is, I know how I was treated as a truck driver, and that turned me into a kick-a-dog truck driver. I don't wish that on anyone. I don't want anyone to be crabby when they get home. I don't want them to hate being a truck driver. I want them to love it. So my motto is, I like to make people into truck drivers, because every truck driver I hire here, I kind of look at it as I'm changing lives, transforming communities one truck driver at a time, because our truck drivers live everywhere.
Sure.
Once again, we're not building a widget in Hazelwood, Missouri, where everybody's within 50-mile radius. I got drivers from California to Maine.
Mm-hmm.
So every driver that goes home, they're changing their neighborhood, their family, their community, because we're giving them a job. They're getting home on time. They're making a good living. So that's my passion, to be able to also make truck drivers professional employees, not just a gruff old crabby truck driver.
That's awesome.
And I get orientation. I go in there and you get the guy like this the whole time. I go, why are you being so crabby?
Mm-hmm.
I go, leave all them scars at the gate. I see you snuck a few in at the front door. Leave them there with lunch. Give us a chance. We tell our drivers when they walk in the building, you're the boss. We work for you. And they go, we've heard that 100 times. Within the next 2 hours, they go, wow, Steve, we see the boss thing.
Mm-hmm.
But just giving you the responsibility of being a boss doesn't mean you can be a jerk.
Sure.
Be respectful. Just, if somebody makes a mistake, fire them. And that's what we tell drivers. Just because maybe I gave you a 4 p.m. instead of a 4 a.m., we make mistakes. Don't fire me, but watch how I fix it and watch how that mistake won't happen again.
Gotcha.
And that really lets drivers understand the difference with us.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and that kind of culture is it's contagious, right? So when you have that attitude, we just talk about a driver coming in who's this,
Mhm.
and then you just talk to them like a real person.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't take long for those barriers to start coming down. It really doesn't.
Before COVID, it was nothing. Instead of getting handshakes from drivers when they left orientation, they'd ask for a hug. They're like, man, you really truly showed me something I haven't seen in a long time in trucking. I've lost that passion in trucking.
Right.
That's
So
gotta be enough to keep you going.
Every day.
Oh, I
every
bet it
day.
does.
Yeah, every day. And also, the responsibility Artur and Tom has given me in the company. I know that my role also affects a lot of people in the building. I mean, if we're not doing our job in here, then, like I said, if we don't bring drivers downstairs, we don't need people upstairs.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very important also, we know that, and to build a company, you have to bring more drivers.
Mm-hmm.
You can't just bring one a day. We need 20 a week.
Sure.
It's the only way to grow.
So speaking of the companies, started in 1998.
Mm-hmm.
Now you've been here the whole time, so you can't take all of the credit, I guess. But what do you say? I mean, it's been year over year growth since then, and you were just talking about
30% growth.
right? Every year. So what do you attribute to that? Is it the philosophy of the owners? Is it just everything? The culture?
The owners are super, super smart, and they're very business savvy, and they will never ever put a majority of anything in one bucket. COVID just hit. If you were heavy in automotive, you took a big hit.
Right.
We were 10% automotive. But the other 90% of the customers that needed something, they needed 120%
Right.
coverage. So our 10% actually gave us 30% extra freight.
Right.
So they've made sure that they're always looking, as Artur says, we are never planning for next year. We're planning for 5 years. Where are we at in 3 years? Where are we at in 5 years? I mean, we're already talking where we need to be in 2024, where we need to be in 2025. I mean, beginning of this year, we said, where are we going to be in 2025? Well, halfway through the year, where are we going to be in 2023? Let's make sure we're on track. If we're not on track at 2023, we can be there on 2025. So they're very adamant that way. Plus, they are hands-on in the building every day. They're on
Makes a difference.
email threads.
Yeah.
They don't just go, hey, 6 departments, tell me what I want to hear. It's, hold on, 6 departments, I don't like what the reports say. What is this? What is that? Or, holy moly, everybody got this done today, great job. There's nothing for Artur or Tom on a Saturday or Sunday to be sending emails at 7 in the morning or 10 at night. They're not micromanaging, but they're making sure if they see something that maybe isn't the way they want it done, it's the education. Even me, I mean, I'm 10 years older than them, and even me, I appreciate when they give me something I learned from them.
Right.
And it's their philosophy. We kind of have a thing. If I was on vacation, Steve, what would your answer be? So I come at them with that. Hey, if you were on vacation, here's how I was doing it. 9 out of 10 times, that's great. We've taught you. That's what we want. The other 10% of the time, ooh, I'm glad I wasn't on vacation.
Sure. Yeah,
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
But,
I'm gonna cancel that vacation.
I'm a 300-pound gorilla, and sometimes I get up to 400 and 600 pounds, so they have to put me in a chokehold and calm me down. But it's my passion, and that's really what it is. I'm never in that moment being mad or angry or upset with people. I don't like people that try to deflect their responsibilities, and that's one thing around here we really try to say. If you have a job, do it. If you can't get it done, ask somebody, we'll help you with it. But don't say you did if you didn't do it.
Right.
Because we have to all do our
accountability.
job. Yeah, because if you don't do your job, how can he do his job? Well,
Right.
if it's a downline of 10 people and one in the middle is not doing their job and saying they are, well, the end people are gonna hurt the most. They're gonna be like, everybody else like, I did my job and I can't do my job because somebody else did. So I'm really, the way they train here and the way they teach, and it is no joke. We come up with a new company, industry changing company pay plan, and I mean, literally hundreds and hundreds of hours have been spent on it in the last 2 months. Arthur just up, I mean, all hours of the night putting it together, new formulas, new ways, and finally came out. And then he took every single person in this building and had meetings with everyone, so everyone knows it. I mean, literally, there's no one in the building that doesn't know this, because once again, retention is most important. The accounting department has retention responsibilities.
Sure.
The janitor, the maintenance people have accountability, because if the bathrooms are dirty all the time, drivers don't like that, they'll talk about it.
Right.
And in social media, if we look at them crooked, they're bitching about something.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So in the world we're in, everybody plays a role in this company, so we make sure they all feel it too.
Mhm.
Nobody's more important or less important than anyone else.
Sure.
A manager's just important as a shop tech. Because I'm doing a job to make sure he gets a job. He's getting somebody done something, so I have a job. So I just, that's my passion here, is we all work together.
Yeah, so if you're a driver or just anybody, myself, Seth, we get on your website, it doesn't take long to notice all the accolades and awards that the company's won. That kind of speaks to the whole trucker company kind of statement, if I could, right?
Right.
Right.
That's our trademark too.
Yeah, I know. So that's what I'm thinking, like, you know, if you look at those, if you got the top companies to drive for, you got all these different accolades. I mean, that just screams to me right there, if I'm a person looking for a place to drive, that they take care of their people,
Yes.
first and foremost, and that's what's important.
Always. Even a driver that comes in with a no truck, comes in with a truck, and you know, maybe he didn't have the money to buy the maintenance plan, maybe he doesn't have that, and all of a sudden, you know, he's month in, a day in, and he goes, hey Steve, I just blew my air conditioner, I need $700. We're gonna help him. Because if you don't, what is the purpose of you really in this industry if you're trying to help people? Once again, my job is to take company drivers, turn them into OOs into independent contractors. We wanna build fleets, but I've also do it backwards. I've had a few fleet guys. I have a guy that actually owned 15 trucks here that said, Steve, I'm out of trucking in 3 years. I wanna become a company driver for you. And he's been driving for a year. He's got 2 years until he retires. The guy's had 15 trucks here. So we can build you from a company driver and help you get your own authority, help you with trucks. I know one of my greatest things is a driver we have. He came to me, him and his dad. He was dispatching his father's truck for a just broker and lived out in California. And 6.5 years ago, his dad came on. I was talking to him at 7 o'clock at night on a Saturday. He called, wanted a job. They called me. I call him back. We're talking. That following Monday, we signed him up. Skip 6 years ahead. They have 50 trucks here. 50.
Wow.
Okay,
That's a
so
lot.
we built him, and you know, and me and him bang heads sometimes because with 50 trucks now he wants to be the boss of everything. But I tell him, I go, you're still just one person. We're still just one company. Let's work together, and we do. And you know, it goes from that again, one truck to 50 trucks. We have contractors that ask us, hey Steve, you know, I'm struggling. I'm from Arizona and I'm trouble. I got 2 trucks sitting. You know, I look at my board. I look at what we have. We spend tens of thousands of dollars a month in advertising. Well, why let it go to waste? Why leave some drivers sitting in a spreadsheet somewhere if I can help fill a truck that's pulling an Arthur trailer? Because really, I don't care what it says on the side of the door. Just pull an Arthur trailer.
Sure.
And if that concept is what we push, that helps you, helps me, helps the independents.
Right.
And that's what we do.
Yeah, so one association that we're close with as a company is Women in Trucking.
Yes.
We've been dealing with them we've partnered with them for 5 or 6 years now. And we saw, one of the things I saw is that you were nominated for one of the top transportation companies for women to work for.
Correct.
So how did that come about? Because I know that's a nomination process. It has to be nominated from the inside,
Right.
For most of these. So, do you know who nominated you? Do you know anything about that, or was it?
No, I know about it. That started a few years back. I had talked to them over there and kind of got things going, talking, and then our vice president, Christy Randall, she went to a convention. And she's there. It was kind of funny because the first thing she tells me, she goes, I walk in, the first thing people are like, oh, you're with Arthur, where's Steve Green? She's like, I'm vice president. And I'm like, I'm sorry, man, I'm sorry. You know, talk to the ladies.
Right.
But we really got a good relationship. We're at like 14-15%, where the industry is like 7.
Yeah.
14%. We're almost double the industry average on females here.
That's awesome.
And we have some phenomenal female drivers here and some great teams, husband and wife teams, and
Sure.
the females are just great that, push it through. But we just found that, first of all, we have a vice president's a female here. I think the company has more female employees than that. So it's not something we tried to do, it just naturally happened. And
It's the culture.
it is what it is. And I mean, we're a better company. If we're a better
Sure.
company having all women in here, I'm good with that.
For sure.
It's like I say, if 100 times I'm wrong, but we're 100 times better for that, I'll be wrong all the time.
Right, sure.
Okay, but the Women in Trucking is such a great platform, and we really want to do more with them. It's just with the transition of the building and a couple other things, we just haven't taken it to that level.
Right.
But we are looking to make that next move with them.
Excellent, excellent.
We did get nominated for Best Fleets 2021 though.
How does that happen?
Driver nominated us, gave us a real nice nomination, and now we will compete with, 40, 50 other big carriers in the country, to be nominated under Carrier's Edge Best Fleets of 2021. That's a pretty big deal. Just being nominated is, we'll put on the website alone. A couple years ago, we made it in the top 20. We didn't do it last year because of doing the building that, but this year we're going at it very strong. We feel with all of our pay plans, all the things we've done, the building, and just everything we've changed, we feel that the top 10 should not be without goal. We should get to the podium. I'm not saying we're gonna place first, but our goal is to be first.
And speaking of the building, the place is beautiful.
Well, thank you, thank you.
I mean, the gym is fantastic, game room. I mean, this looks like a place you come to work and you're happy to be here.
There's a huge theater, 4 times the size of my office here. There's a theater we're ready to take you to.
Oh, wow.
There's all kinds of kiosk and all kinds of free coffee places for drivers and all that stuff. So once again, you want to give back to the drivers.
Right.
Sure.
Right.
Dog park, got the
Nice.
dog park out here, and that was a big thing. People were talking about that last night on Facebook. Dog park's open.
That's
So that is cool. That's just like a little extra thing, right?
Yes, sir.
Because a lot of drivers have dogs. That's their best friend, right?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah,
I mean,
I love it.
being out on the road all day long, and if you at least got your dog with you.
Right. Sure.
Give me one sec. I'm just gonna make sure we're
Good.
still good.
Oh, good.
That would like totally suck not to get this. Yep, we're good.
Perfect. Excellent.
All right, so Steve, the question I have, and this coming from a dealer,
Mhm.
Obviously the majority of our customers are company drivers looking to make the jump and to become an owner operator. And, from our perspective, it just seems like we're selling trucks. But there's a lot of stuff going on in that same moment outside of just finding a truck. You gotta find a haul source, you got that learning curve. Your experience, would you have any advice to give somebody that is looking to make that jump? Is there anything that you wish you would have known when you first started?
Yes. First things first, make sure you have an account to pay your taxes. It's very
Okay.
important to pay your taxes, okay?
Sure.
Number one, it's kind of, jokingly saying it, but it is so important that a person understands that when you get a 1099, you need to be putting 25% away of whatever that first check was, and every check after that into a separate savings account. Because you don't wanna work all year, finally get some money going, and next thing you know, you lose everything because you didn't pay your taxes.
Mhm.
So right away, that's a number one priority. I tell every driver, taxes are no joke.
Sure.
Secondly, you want to get yourself into a truck that is going to give you maintenance, some type of a repair, something like that. I get it. If you've got a big fat bank account, you can afford to pay for your transmission, then, maybe don't pay the extra $200 a month on the payment. But I recommend, no matter how much money's in your pocket, leave it there, pay a few bucks extra a month, get you a warranty and a maintenance package.
Right.
PM, something, you have to have it. Because if not, it's not if the truck is going to break down, it is when.
Sure.
We had a $160,000, 400-mile brand spanking new truck. Literally, we drove it from the dealer and it broke down before it got here, and that was 4 miles away.
Wow.
See,
That's
They
a
put
brand
a
new
brand new computer in it.
Yeah.
It shot everything. So I don't care if your truck's 600,000 or 600 miles,
Yeah.
they can break down.
It's not if it's when.
It's 100% win.
You have to
And
have
if you do not have your insurance, which is not an insurance policy, it's called maintenance or a warranty, you're just kidding yourself. All you're doing is putting money in the bank that is all gonna disappear. So spend a little bit of money up front, get the right truck. Don't get the cheapest truck you can get the best truck you can afford. Don't get the cheapest truck you can afford, get the best truck. And if getting the best truck means maybe you don't have cable at home for 6 months, don't have cable. Because that $150 a month difference in the truck is the difference because you break down one time and you're making $1,000 a day and you miss one day, you just lost $1,000.
Sure.
So how really expensive is a warranty or not?
Right, and then you start looking at the cost of repair,
Exactly.
and you just tacking on
Repair,
every day,
Downtime. And if you break down under one of my loads, and all of a sudden I gotta go recover it because you're gonna be broke down for 4 days, oh, you can't sleep in the truck at a repair shop, so you gotta get a hotel.
Right.
Remember that cost.
So this thing is just snowballing.
It snowballs into a bad
You
decision.
gotta eat.
Yes.
I mean, so yeah, it's.
But what I love about your company, 100%, is you make sure they come in there and you give them the best opportunity to succeed. You can't make him take a maintenance plan.
Sure.
You can't make him get warned. You can't make him do that. But you're doing it. You're showing them. Most guys get something. Where a lot of places are, you can afford $600 a month? Perfect. Here's the best $600 a month truck I could give you a week and buy. And they don't say, hey, let's get a $500 a week payment with a $100 maintenance package with it. No, let's give them $600 on the truck because I get more money selling the truck, or however that works out. And they're predators.
Right.
I will not deal with anyone that has predatory scenarios in their thing. You're my only leasing company. That's it. This is who we deal with right now. Okay? Because you have, over the years, repeatedly given us drivers that have taken care of it. And taking care of their trucks, and you've taken care of them. And then not always. I know I've had a few drivers come here and then they weren't happy, they went somewhere else. And you know what? We're not a fit for everyone.
Sure. Right.
But also,
Not
more
either.
than likely, not everyone's a fit for us because we
Right.
require you to run, we require you to work, so you can get home and spend your money. It's very important. So that's just one of those things.
You want that bass boat, buddy, it doesn't come for free.
No.
So basically, pay your taxes and have a maintenance account.
Yes.
Have a plan,
There you go.
Yes.
think about it ahead of time.
That's awesome.
I mean, that's the part of what our company, what we wanna do, we wanna support. You know, that's all we do is sell,
Mhm.
right? So we don't have maintenance, we don't have parts, revenue, we don't have anything like that. So really, we're just focused on our customer, and really that is it.
Right.
If they're not successful, then we're not successful.
Right.
So we need to do our best up front to make sure that what the product they're getting is gonna be the best possible thing we get. Now, we don't have X-ray vision, nobody does.
Right.
There are gonna be issues, but that's why we have warranties, that's why we have those kind of things, right?
Right.
Hello, gentlemen,
Yes,
sorry
ma'am.
to interrupt. Are you going to be ready?
1:15? That's my time frame. It says 1:15, I thought.
Okay, we'll go ahead.
I mean, if it's 1, I can be there at 1.
I'll look at the schedule. We're
Yeah.
15.
What time is it?
15? Okay, we'll give them an extra break.
Okay.
Thank you, sorry to interrupt.
No, you're good.
We don't have a whole lot
You're
more on
fine.
there,
You're
so.
fine.
No, I think
You're fine.
I just wanted, there's when people are coming to us, they're giving us almost all the money that they've saved up over the last 6 months, which being a company driver, it takes some discipline to be able to save money
Right.
like that because you're what 20, 30, 40, 50 cents a mile or whatever, and then all of a sudden something happens. It's hard to save thousands of dollars that you would need to be able to put down on a truck, not including the fact that every time that a truck is going to have an issue and it goes to a shop, I mean, all they have to do is throw a rag at it and you're a few $100s for that. And so we know that, and then also we've seen good people get good trucks from us and they're dependable trucks, but then their haul sources didn't line up with anything that they could have been successful with. And so, it's really important that not only us selling trucks, but our customers, if we really want them to be successful, we want them to haul for a company that's gonna have their best interests in mind as long as, as well as their own.
Right.
And so that's the reason why we've always really appreciated the relationship we've had with you. And the few people that, I've been able to be a part of, seeing them come over here, they've loved the fact that, that it's not a family, but it's a team. And, we want to do everything we can to take care of our drivers. They're not treated like driver 1, 2, 4, 3. They have a name,
Mhm.
and they're treated that way. And I've always appreciated that.
And
So-
we even go a little deeper here to where we care about them personally, not just up to the truck, but once they get out of the truck.
Right.
Around here, home time is more important to me than pay because I know I got top pay and I know I got all the miles you can run. But I know a guy would rather sometimes maybe make a couple less dollars a week, but get home and see mom and the kids maybe.
Right.
Sure.
And sometimes drivers, and also we have a program here to where we really make drivers understand, if you need to be home Friday night for your kid's graduation, you'll be home Friday morning. But if you need to be home Friday night for dinner with the wife, we might ask you on Wednesday, hey, I can get you home Saturday with 1,600 miles, or I can get you home Friday with dinner with 600 miles. What do you want?
So you're
Let me
giving
call
them
my
the
wife.
option.
Let me call, I'm not giving you an option on Friday night high school graduation because that can't be rescheduled.
Right.
But we know because we understand why you went off on that Friday. Some drivers might tell us, I'm saying we're gonna tell you, but they understand why we're asking, so they will tell us, hey, I'm doing dinner with my wife on Friday. Hey, call them on Wednesday, tell them we got 1,600 miles for Saturday morning, or I only got 600 and I gotta get them home Thursday night, just it's not lining up right. Hey, I called my wife, she said Saturday's fine, can I stay home one extra day? Sure. But with a contractor, they can go home when they want, they can do what they want.
Sure.
But we also tell them that driving part-time, you're not gonna pay for you'll pay for the truck and the fuel, but you're never gonna make any money.
Right.
And who wants to work for the truck and the fuel company?
Nobody.
So that's why we tell them, we can help you, we can do things with them. So it's not just that you're not just a number, but we make sure, we kind of have a concierge service to tell them, hey, tell me when your kids' birthdays are if you want, and I'll make sure we send you an email to say your kid's birthday's tomorrow.
That's awesome.
Tell me when your kid's baseball is, I'll put in a schedule and we'll update you, hey, your kid's got a ball game tomorrow night at 6. Because he might wanna call him at 4 in the afternoon and say, hey, Jimmy,
Right.
have a great game today.
Right.
So there's concierge things and there's stuff we wanna do. Once again, we want you to have a great experience driving a truck. Let us handle all those other things that your mind's doing 100 things. I drove 1,000,000 miles white knuckling it and I hated it. I don't wish that on anyone.
So, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna ask, so that's really interesting, this whole, setting up reminders for kids' baseball games. Do you know of any other trucking company out there that does that?
I don't know of them, but I know other companies have concierge services, and this didn't come from us seeing it from somebody else. I just knew one day when I was driving, I missed a couple of my kids' events. I'm like, I wish somebody could remind me of this.
Right.
But when I got here, I'm like, we should remind them of that.
Yes. How cool
So-
is it to be in that position to be able to make that happen for someone else?
See, that's the power of having the experience to be on that side. Be behind the wheel. It's because you know what you were missing before.
Right.
Sure.
And now you can provide that to them, and they may not even think about it, but it means a whole lot to them.
Right. Once you show it to them, like, well, I wasn't even thinking of that.
And they wouldn't even think of that.
Cool.
And
Wow,
that's-
you guys have that? Wow, I didn't think, that's awesome.
Like we tell them, a customer is always happy for me to tell them I'm running late, but a customer is never happy to call me and say, your truck's not here yet.
Right.
So if you can get ahead of the problem, explain it to them, show them what we're doing, that does show value for us.
Sure.
And that's what we are. We truly have a value here for drivers. We pay great, good equipment, unlimited freight. The only limitations any driver has here is what they put on themselves. That's it.
That's powerful.
That I can show it any day. If a driver tells me, Steve, I'll give you 2 weeks on and a week off, they'll make more money than they've ever made in their life. But they gotta drive.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Now, the big story this year was obviously coronavirus,
Mhm.
COVID and all the restrictions and all those things. Can you just kind of walk me through how your company navigated through that and continued to grow, because you're still growing?
Actually, COVID was like a curse, obviously, on the world, but for us, it allowed us to thin the herd on some drivers that just didn't want to really work, so it gave them a chance to just go home for a while.
Right.
But the oil and sand fracking fields were demolished. First of all, oil was free, so
Right.
negative price and all this stuff. Well, then it opened up 6 different sand fracking companies that in the month of April and May, we brought in over 200 extra trucks and drivers during that time
Wow.
because they had nowhere to go. They weren't superstars in the business because they were used to doing a whole other thing.
Right.
But at least they were able to bring drivers in with their trucks, get them working, and they were so thankful. One of the companies went out of business, just nothing we did. They just couldn't support,
Right.
having 100 trucks and no drivers in them, basically.
Right.
Because it was cheaper for some drivers to stay home on unemployment than it was to keep working.
Sure.
Right.
So they were really devastated by that. But other companies, we have a company right now, he's like, basically, hey, we have 30 trucks with you and we want to make it 60. And he's like, I never thought I'd want to pull a dry van, but he goes, our drivers are so happy doing it. We still need our sand fracking and do all that, but man, it's really, so now they're actually looking to hire just dry van drivers, nothing to do with sand fracking. And now some of their sand fracking guys are like, I hate doing this, man, can I get into dry van? So it's really changed the game for us, but we navigate it with our Vice President, Christy Randall. She is unbelievable with all of the CDCs. She is a lawyer, a banker, a mother, a doctor here. She takes care of us all. So I mean, really, that was her that came in. I mean, she is just that person in the company. We're so blessed to have her. But she just really made sure we all stayed. She stayed on top of giving updates. She checked with each people. We had departments. She put protocols. You don't come in the building without getting your temperature tested as employees. You got to wear a mask upstairs or downstairs. So we just really went with common sense stuff, but we also really focused drivers. We didn't open up the gym for 2-3 months. We didn't open up all the showers. There's 6 showers here. We only have 2 open at a time. Just why have 6 clean it when you're only probably got 2 people at a time in the shower? Don't need to have all 6. So she's opening us back up and allowing stuff, but we just common sense, and also being an essential business that we are, we're not going to shut down.
Right.
We let a lot of people work from home. It was amazing. Half the company worked from home, but me and my department, we got to be in here. We're hands on. We got to touch you when you walk in the building. You know, we're not doing remote. You know, so we had to be here, and we've been here. And thank God that we're all safe. Nobody had anything, and we're really practicing it. You know, when we're at home and things like that, because we know that I'm not only affecting, you know, possibly, you know, my kids or my wife, but this could affect that bringing into the building, and we shut the building down for 3 days.
Right.
You know, nobody wants that, so we don't want to do that. So the coronavirus was a big hiccup for us, and it caused us some issues, but it really also caused us to circle the wagons, be a little bit more leaner and meaner, and we came out of this. And not that we're out of coronavirus, but things have opened up. We're actually one of our top 5 customers. We did 20,000 loads with them last year. They just awarded us another 20,000 loads more this year. So we actually had 40,000 loads from one customer.
So you guys are growing in the midst of a pandemic.
Exponentially.
Wow.
Yes,
Wow.
very. Just once again, sometimes we do take them 2 steps back, but when we go forward, we jump.
Catapult.
Yes, we jump forward. We don't do too many 1 steps forward.
It takes a special mindset to do that, to look at something like a pandemic and everything's in chaos and to say, okay, well, it's an opportunity for us to get better.
Right.
It's an opportunity for us to grow and to help other industries that are hurting to keep their drivers on the road and make money. That's the difference between a successful company and one that's not gonna make it.
Right, or just survive. And one of the other things I tell drivers, we make a living off you driving, but I don't want to make a living off of you breaking your back for me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I just need you to do your job and we will be okay. But, you know, it's that company that didn't make good business decisions that starts living on the driver's back. We have never, ever, ever cut a company driver's pay here. If you're a company driver here, you've never had your pay go backwards. Now, that pay plan you're on might stop in January, and everybody going forward gets a different plan because the market's gone down or something like that.
Right.
But we have never cut a company driver's pay,
That's cool.
It's awesome.
and that's a big deal.
It's peace of mind.
Yes.
Yeah.
And let drivers know, hey, when I come here, I'm on a pay plan. You know, I got an opportunity probably to move up when they give better pay plans, but I know I'm always gonna be minimum locked in on this one.
Right.
That's a good deal.
That helps, you know, from their standpoint, budgeting, you know, for their home, for their grocery bill,
Mhm.
and everything else.
Peace of mind.
Peace of mind.
Yeah.
Right, you know, company always changing plans, it's gonna scare people.
Right.
So.
I actually have one last question.
Sure.
If you wouldn't mind sharing.
Mhm.
You kind of hinted to it that you're always looking 4 to 5 years in the future.
Mhm.
I mean, where do you see? I mean, you guys have grown in a few years I've known you, and seen what you guys have done. Where are you guys going to be in 5 years? Where do you see yourselves?
5 years, probably over 1,000 trucks. You know, over 1,100 is kind of our goal for that time frame. Possibly, you know, 1 or 2 more drop yards around the country. We don't want buildings, you just don't need them with technology now,
Sure.
but a few more drop yards, and just to keep diversifying our customer base. I mean, you know, we have a large retail base, but we understand where retail's going, so we better start looking more at manufacturing. You better start looking more at, you know, we used to never go to Texas. Now we got 50 trucks a day in Texas, maybe 100. You know what I'm saying? So we see markets, and as we grow our fleets, grow our teams, grow our company fleet, it gives us opportunities to work with different customers in the reality of, hey, company drivers will do any of these loads, but contractors don't like all of them. But contractors love these, so we can mix around. A customer might have 50 great loads, 50 not so great loads.
Sure.
But the only way to get all of them is, the only way to do the good ones is take them all.
Get them all.
So you have to have different things. I don't see us growing too much as size of the company, just because, once again, Dietary TMS system does such a great job. It allows us, it has auto dispatch, it has so many things that automate the system. And once again, I'm not saying, we wanna cut everybody out of the business world, but if I only need 10 dispatchers to dispatch 1,000 trucks, why would I pay 15 to do it?
Right.
Because that leaves me 5 dispatchers worth of pay to pay everyone else a little more, including our truckers. We as a company do not give raises unless we pay our drivers more.
That's a
And
good
you
policy.
could walk out there and ask people, when was the last time you got a raise?
Mhm.
And they might not say, oh, not for a year and a half, because that was our last real raise we gave for drivers. So we do that because we want drivers to know they're the most important thing.
So
Once
that
again,
the blood.
creates the team spirit too.
Right.
They're gonna work harder for the drivers so that hopefully you'll pay them more. and
Right.
Pay them more.
Exactly. Actually, if a driver makes more money, I make more money. If a driver does 8,000 miles a week and he just makes a bare minimum $1,000, we're all breaking even.
Right.
But if he's doing, 3,000 miles a week and he's making 1,800 a week, that means we're making more money. So that, you always have a break even, and we want them double past the break even because they make more money. Once again, you got a driver license to do 2,000 miles a week. I'm gonna get a call from his wife more than likely in a month saying, why is he only doing X amount of miles a month? I'm like, well, he goes home every 4 days. Well, he won't be coming home that much now.
Right.
And we had that happen. So once again, the only limitations you have as a driver at Artur Express, whether you're company, contractor, is the limitations you put on us, where you won't go and your home time. And we have a very simple policy for home time for company drivers. Obviously, contractors do what they want, but what we find the best rotation is out 14, 15 days, home for 4 full days. Or out 7, home for 2. And 2 is 48 hours. So we kind of found if you can run your clock out, we can get you home. If you run your clock out twice, your second run out would be at your house. And really, that really turns into a great rotation. You work at 14, 15 days, you go home for 4 days. Well, them 4 days could be a 4-day weekend, or it could be 4 days during the week. You can schedule a doctor's appointment. Everybody likes to be off on the weekends. How do you get a doctor's appointment? You take a day off during the week now.
Right.
Now you lose vacation or pay.
Right.
So those are some of the things.
Your guys don't have to worry about that.
Correct.
That's a benefit.
So we can relate to the whole support thing, because that's what our roles are. So I'm a sales support manager, and he's
I'm
a
a
trainer.
janitor.
He's a janitor trainer. So that's basically all we do is we don't actively sell anything.
Right.
We don't go out and get customers, but we have to support our sales staff who, the sales staff that the more they sell, the more our company makes, the happier they are. So the more we can do to make their jobs easier, that's what our focus is on every day.
It sounds like we kind of have the same mentality, because we realize our salespeople are the profit and we're the overhead. And that it sounds like the truckers here are the priority, they're the blood, they're the profit. And then anybody else doing anything, yeah, we're here to support and help, but they are the profit of it. That's
You're not
cool.
bumping any docs from this desk.
Right.
That's cool.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, without them, I don't have a job.
No, and we just want to keep working with you guys as we get, and one of our, I kind of want to end in this direction, is we don't even send a driver to you unless he likes what we have. We get drivers out there, just send me the leasing info. No, we need to talk about this work. I don't want to talk about it, I want to know about my lease first. Well, you're really not interested in a job then.
Right.
Now, sometimes, just to get them on, here's Arrow's thing, hope you get something out of it. But that is one of our biggest things where we really do try to, hold on a second here. Sorry. We really do try to, that's all right. We try to work with that driver to make them understand that it's a business, okay? Maybe you're not a fit for me, but you're calling me, so I want to talk to you about my job. Then I'll hook you up with a trucking company, a place to get a truck.
Sure.
But then you get the 1 or 2 guys like, hey, I'm this, I'm that. I like what they got to say, where they were coming from. Call them up. If you work out a deal, great. Because then that might even determine why even have the conversation about a job. He's like, I already got a good job. I'm working here. I'm not coming to you as a company guy, but if he can get me a truck, I'll come there as an owner. Okay, well, now I reprioritize that conversation and say, call Seth, here you go. You know what I mean?
Yep, I do.
So we do, we work both ways, and our relationship is great, I feel. I just know that we want to push people to you that want trucks. And if you need a freight source, we have it.
Well, after hearing your goal, our goal is for you to reach your goal, and our goal is to be able to help you reach your goal. And if that's supplying good drivers with good work ethic, with a good truck, and to make it a good haul source, that sounds like a win-win across the board.
Absolutely.
So
is.
I take that any day.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah, so speaking of warranty, so it's because you're one of our national account customers, we extend the warranty to 6 months for free for all your drivers to come to us too, so.
Okay.
So that'll help them get started as well, and we help them with money off their first payment as well. So it's just another bonus for them, when they come to us, if they decide to buy a truck from us, that, they'll get some added benefit.
Right, good. Well, that's awesome. And yes, that's,
hey, anything we can do to kind of alleviate the pain of taking that jump, that's a huge change, and that's nervous.
right.
You know, so,
But no, we're good. We just wanna pass them on to you guys. We know you take care of them, so I never have a problem when we're pushing one that way. And you're probably gonna see a lot more soon. My ads are big, we got a lot of stuff going on, and you're probably gonna get a lot more.
that's awesome. So hey, for wherever this thing lands,
Right.
Yeah.
you're hiring.
We're hiring. Artur Express is hiring right now. Company drivers, independent contractors, owner operators, we can help you get your authority, we can do whatever we need to do. But yes, we are hiring. We have some top-notch pay plans. We do pay percentage and we pay per mile.
Awesome.
And there are no deductions if you are not driving. We do not put any more deductions. Deductions are based on loaded miles only.
Awesome.
So if you're not driving, you're never gonna have a reoccurring fee from the week before.
That's huge.
Right.
Well,
And I
Steve,
appreciate you guys, everything you
Thank
guys do for us. I mean, you guys, we
Thank
really
you.
like
Thank
the,
you.
we really do like it. And, you know, once again, you work with Don really well, and, you know, Don always talks highly of you. I know anything I need, you guys have always been receptive. And, you know, I know this is taking a minute to do, but it was on my to-do list, and I said, I'm gonna do it in August, man.
well, I'm
And then
grateful
boom,
that
I
you did.
typed
It's
it up.
awesome
That's right.
awesome to have the conversation. I think the biggest thing is it'd be awesome to get this information out to people that are looking for a haul source that does want a good company to haul for. So
That's our goal, and then also,
Appreciate
pay your
it.
taxes.
Pay the taxes.
I
Pay
can't.
the taxes.
I know, you probably never had nobody ever say that though before.
No.
And that's important. I mean.
My dad told me that. but
Right,
I mean,
well, of course. But if you're not thinking, you're in trouble.
Right.
Awesome.
All right, I have 7 minutes, so hey, that was great.
Yeah,
What else do you need from me?
Oh.
From your plate, the only thing I would say is my question to you is there anything that was said, conversation went around that you wouldn't want out there? So the second thing is, before we do send it to
I'd like to
our
look at it.
platform,
oh, yeah.
we'd
Yeah.
like.
Whatever, your rough draft, let me see it.
That's
Yeah,
what I was
that's
gonna
fine.
ask you.
But then what I need from you is send me new updated information about the warranty